Yo, what's up guys, your boy Nick and we are back with another video. Got my boy ABANKS in the chair.
What's good?
Let him know what we're about to do today, dog.
Get a crispy fade from my boy Nick. Also, I'm gonna get him to throw a part in there.
Alright, so you guys heard him, so I'm about to get him right. About to give him a nice clean fade, throw a little part in there. So let's go ahead and get into the cut.
So what's up guys, like I said, we got my boy ABANKS in the chair. We're going to be doing a high to a mid bald fade, and I'm also going to be throwing a half moon part. But before we get into that, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also smash that like button. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. So like always guys, we're going to start by combing his hair in the direction of the growth patterns, checking for any inconsistencies, any cowlicks, any moles, and then we're going to start by setting our first guideline. Now I'm going to start this pretty low. Normally for about a high bald fade or a mid bald fade, I would start this a little bit higher, but with his hair texture, he has really thick hair, so I want to give myself room to fade, and I also want to be able to see the gradients in the fade. Now with my 1A blade on my BGRVs, I'm going to go ahead to start to cut down the top of his hair. Now I'm making sure to go with the grain, smooth consistent strokes, so his hair is all even all over. So the 1A blade on my BGRVs is equivalent to the number 1 guard, lever all the way closed on my magic clip. So I'm just gonna go ahead and come back and backdoor my 1A blade with my magic clips, and just to make sure I get all the flyaway hairs, make sure I get this as even as possible. So we're going to be using the same exact method that I used in my last haircut tutorial. So with my 0A blade on my BGRVs, I'm going to go ahead and set my second guideline. So I'm going to make this guideline about a ½ inch to an inch wide. Now remember guys, the bigger your guidelines are, the more stretched out your fade is going to be. Now I'm just going to run this all around his head. So now that I set that guideline, I'm gonna come back with my oyster topazes to take that line out. Now I'm gonna start with the clipper halfway and just move that lever on the side as need be to take out this line. Now remember guys, you constantly want to be brushing your client's hair, and also don't be afraid to use that lever on the side. As long as you don't go above where you set that guideline, you don't have to worry about setting another line. Now I'm just coming back with my T outliners to take out any residual that's left over from that first guideline. So now with my 1½ blade on my BGRVs, I'm going to go ahead and start my third guideline, doing the exact same thing as my second guideline, making this about an inch to a ½ inch wide, and I'm going to run this all the way around his head. Now I'm going to backdoor that with my 1A blade, making sure to stay below where I set that third guideline, and to also use the corner of my blade so I don't raise this fade up any. So now that I'm finished with that 1A blade, I'm going to come back with my 1 blade, make sure to use the corner of my blades and to stay below where I use that 1A at. Now this 08 blade is going to be the last blade that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to be doing the same exact thing like I did with all the other blades, just making sure to stay below where I was with that one blade and just to use the corner of the blade. So as you can see guys, that line is pretty much gone, and this is something I spoke about in my last video, but here recently I've been using my detachable blades more often. I feel that it's so much easier. It takes a lot of the guesswork out, and as you guys can see, just those 3 easy steps and that line is pretty much gone. So I'm gonna come back with my oyster topazes just to detail this a little bit, but as you can see, the fade is already looking blurry and we just have to deal with that bulk at the top. Now pay attention guys, I'm using the corner of that blade. I'm not trying to raise this blend any, and I'm also not trying to set any other lines. Now I have my 1.5 guard on my magic clips, and I'm gonna go ahead and start to attack this bulk at the top of the fade. Now I'm trying not to set another guideline, I'm just flicking out at the top. Now I could use my 3.5 blade or my 2 blade to attack this bulk, but me personally, I feel like this 1.5 guard, the hair just feeds through a lot better, and I can also come back with my 1 blade below this to just detail some of that area I use with my detachables. And now I have my 1 blade lever all the way open, and I'm just going to continue to detail this fade as much as possible. So boom, that's the fade. So now I'm going to use my TI liners to remove the rest of this hair at the bottom of the fade. Now the reason why I do this is I feel like it helps me see the blend better. Sometimes when I bald my client out, it's kind of hard for me to see the contrast in the fade. So I just like to leave this, and then also too, it just saves me time personally. I like to go ahead and get right into the fade instead of worrying about balding out the client at first. But at the end of the day, guys, it really doesn't matter if you do it at the beginning or the end. So now for the edge up, I'm gonna face my boy ABANKS towards the mirror, and I'm gonna start in the middle and then work my way out. So now it's time for his part. Now I did this part in his last haircut, so I'm just going to be following that guideline that I use. But you guys want to make sure that you just use the corner of your blade, and with these silver FXs, they have a real thin blade on them, so it just makes it that much easier to do the line. So I like to set the line first and then flip the clipper over and then detail the bottom line. Now I'm going to add a little bit of hair fibers, and it may not look like I have anything in the application bottle, but I found when I put too many fibers in the bottle, it sprays out too thick. So I like to put a little bit in there and then spray it out, see how it looks. Me personally, I don't like the too enhanced look. Now I do like to enhance it a little bit to give it more of that sharp look, more of that fuller look, but I don't want it to not look natural when they get up out of my chair. And then now for the razor, as long as you stretch your client's skin and hold that razor at a 45-degree angle, you don't have to worry about nicking your client at all. Alright guys, so here's the before. And here's the after. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Now be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button too as well. And be on the lookout for my next video. And I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.